you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.
But on his sword belt, he bore Blackfire, his grandsire's sword, the Sword of Kings.
Whoa.
Even sheathed, the blade could be mistaken for no other. A shiver of fear went through me when I saw that sword. Is there a warning there? I wondered as the dragon settled to the ground, smoke rising from between his teeth. I had fled to Pentos when Magor died, frightened of what fate awaited me under his successors, and for an instant, as I stood there in the damp, I wondered whether I had been a fool to return. Welcome back to the Throne of the Dragon podcast, the show that covers each and every episode of HBO's House of the Dragon, and in the off season, we are covering every chapter of Fire and Blood. I'm Josh, and with me, as always, is Curtis. Kurt, how's it going over there?
It's going good. I don't know why I didn't think about this until you read that very last line where he says whether, as I stood there in the damp, I had wondered whether I had been a fool to return, and all I could hear was Gandalf in my ear. Run, you fools!
Fly, you
Ah!
fools.
Fly, you fools! Yeah, yeah, it's going good, man. It's going good. It just took us about 20 minutes just to get this intro going, but that's okay. It's for the
I'll still
bloopery.
argue that the Skeletor intro is the best intro.
It should have been the He-Man Throw the Dragon or House of the Dragon crossover episode, but we had to throw it to the wayside. Oh
Was
well.
Blackfire.
Blackfire! He-Man's grandsire sword!
Oh my god.
The Sword of Kings! Anyway, it's out of my system. I'm done. Moving on. Yeah, this was
Have
a good
you
chapter.
well, before we get to that, have you seen that I think there's supposed to be another trailer released in the next week or so?
I was wondering when we are going to get another one,
I
but no,
saw a
I
couple
have
things
not
about
seen that.
it. I don't think anything's super official yet, but
I've seen plenty of fan trailers, and I'm like, oh, come on, people.
yeah, no.
Stop trolling me. Stop
No.
trolling me.
Now, this is a couple things from like the last few days that said there's supposed to be another trailer coming the next week or so.
Nice. Yeah, I can't wait, man. Can't
Just
wait.
watching it again before we started, trying to
Like, come
catch
on.
some little hint of
There's,
something.
there's got to be something else in there, man.
There's got to be
There's got to be
something
something.
else.
Josh, you've watched this for a million times. Go to bed. No, no, I know I'm missing something. I'm
I'm
missing
missing
something.
something
One more
here.
time.
If I pause it just a little sooner in the frame,
Oh, right there. Right there.
it's right there, that smudge.
Oh, man. Yeah. Now I'm excited, man. I mean, we're February's over. We're now in March. We're almost halfway through March.
We're about halfway through March.
And you know what happens after we're done with March? April comes around. You know what happens after April? May gets here. And then once May is over, we're in the heat of things, Josh. The heat of the
Yeah,
fire.
because they haven't given an official date yet, but they have said June, right?
Which I'm like, yeah, it's like just give me the date. What are we doing? Just give me the date.
Yeah.
Why are
I
you
mean,
dangling it
it's
out in front of
done.
me? Oh, well, you almost got it. You almost got it there. Just give me a date. What does it matter?
Yeah.
Dumb. Because
But I'm
here's
ready.
the thing about it. We started with summer 2024. All right, okay. I mean, that's basically like 2 months, July, June or July. Okay. It's like, whoa, now it's gonna be June. Okay. What date? We can't tell you that. Not yet.
Not yet. We got to have more to drop on you. Because then when the official release date comes, then that'll be a big blow up.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. It's a whole marketing thing, but
Yeah. Got to build the hype.
dumb. Dumb. I mean, I know it's gonna be a Sunday, you know. So
Right.
and there's probably only like 4 or 5 Sundays in June. So
And
anyway,
we're trying to work it out so that we run right up against the last chapter we're going to do is the question of succession,
right,
and that should take us all the way up to right about where season 2 is going to start. So
right. I'm ready.
ready to get in there,
I
see
just had a
how this
question though,
ends.
Josh. What happens when season two's over and we go back to the off season? What are we gonna do then?
Well, then I am thinking, well, we'll still have a couple chapters left to do after that.
But you don't want to get too far because you don't want to, you don't want to get past where they are in the season, right? Or in the series, right?
But we can do up through like season 2. So
Right.
we could probably go through after the question of succession, we've probably still got another 3 or maybe even 4 chapters
Oh, okay.
that
Okay.
we can cover
So we
after
got we
that.
got some. Okay.
Yeah. And then
Sweet.
beyond that, I was thinking that maybe we could do, since it's an easier read, we could do the Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Nice. Nice.
Yeah, the 3 novellas, the Mystery Knight, the Hedge Knight, and the Sworn Sword,
Okay.
um, that are all the same story essentially. They're just different parts of it. But
Points of view or whatever. Okay.
no, they're all Duncan. Yeah, they're all Duncan egg, but they take place like within a few months to like a year of each other. So when one ends, the next one starts like a little ways down the road.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it's always about them. So
Nice. Cool. Cool, cool, man.
yeah. So what did you think of this chapter? A time of
Oh,
testing the realm remade.
oh, I thought it was a time of testes. My bad.
No, it wasn't.
Read that wrong. No, it was a good one. It's short, but there's some good stuff in it. You stole one of my quotes. I don't like that. Well, you stole half of my quote. Um, I did enjoy Maester Benefer's excuse me, Grand Maester. Excuse me, Grand Maester. Ooh, you're such a
You
big
you
deal,
give
aren't
him
you?
the honor he is due.
Grand Maester Benefer's account on Jaehaerys' return and kind of the fear and kind of like apprehension of like, is this going to be in a good return or are we about to die? For what is going on in his absence. And basically kind of a plot. Not, I mean, I don't know if it would be called a plot or not, but just kind of like the thought of like to really kind of, do away with him on the throne, because of his marriage and different stuff like that. Just the backstabbing from like Lord Rogar and everything like that too. But um yeah, I really I've lost my train of thought for a second. But I really did enjoy like that part. And even some like the discussion between like Jaehaerys and Rogar, excuse me, Roger. Um Roger the Dodge, Baratheon. Yeah. Just some of the discussions of like him coming back and begging for his life basically. Um, and just a couple of different discussions that Jaehaerys has with him and such. But yeah, what about you, Josh? What?
Whoopsie.
Eh?
Um, yeah, this chapter is just kind of laying out his rule. We've been
Right.
on Dragonstone this whole time, and now we came back for coronation and stuff, but now we're coming back to really do the thing. The first thing he says is, "We have work to do." So, let's
Oh,
talk a
great.
little.
Another Lord
Oh,
of the
oh,
Rings reference.
what? We
When you
have work
said
to
we
do.
have work to do, I can think of a Sauron in the first one. When the
Oh,
orcs come in, he
Saruman.
says, or Saruman, sorry. When the orcs come in, he says, what news, master? What does the eye command? He just goes, we have work to do.
Nice.
Dun, 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 dun.
Christopher Lee is so brutal. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the return of Jaehaerys. Uh
You mean the return of the king?
yes, the return of the
Oh,
king.
man, I'm just on fire right
Oh,
now.
oh man.
You thought this was a He-Man crossover, but it's not. It's a Lord of the Rings crossover.
Psych.
Suck.
I liked Maester Benefer's kind of description of him. He comes
Mhm.
back, he feels like he's really grown into a man. He looks different, he carries himself different.
How old
And
do you think he is when he returns?
16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 16's considered like instead of 18, it's 16. So
Right.
they considered
Okay.
that being, I mean, you could be a lord then. You
Right.
could, it's like you're, yeah, I don't know. It's their,
Bar mitzvah?
yeah, kind of, yeah. They just consider that's when you're a man. So
Right, yeah.
you get legal,
Right. Yeah.
like
I get
there's
what you're
guys
saying.
who, okay.
Been trying to explain
Can I tell you more about this?
it. I've been dying to
Um,
talk to you about this.
the reason I bring that up is because it made me think a lot of in Game of Thrones, the first book,
Mhm.
um, when Caitlyn sees Robb for the first time after he's called the banners. She's been to
Mhm.
King's Landing. She's had Tyrion as her captive. She's lost him, and now she's back with Robb. And the first time she sees him, he's at the head of this army, essentially.
Right.
And so, yeah, just how she sees him is like, oh, okay, yeah, this is the man now. I want to say Robb was a little bit younger too. Robb might have been like 15. He might have been 16. But yeah, that immediately jumped out at me. I was like, oh, that makes me think a lot of the first time Caitlin saw Robb. Uh, I feel like he did a really good job of seeing, a new king might come in and just wipe the slate clean.
Right.
You clear out all
Bury the
the
hatchet. Wipe the slate
officers in your
clean.
court.
Right.
Um, but he
And in some aspects
leaves.
he did. I mean, he leaves some of them, but there's
Yeah,
several that, I mean, he knows when to get rid of somebody. There's no
yeah,
hesitation there. And sometimes.
yeah. There was no love for the Celtigar that was
No, no.
the tax collector, the
Bring
master
in
of
the Lord of
coin.
Air.
Yeah. Yeah, Rigo Draz ends up being a big win for them, and
Yes.
probably not something that anybody else would have done, you know,
Right.
to
Well,
go,
it's outside of the box.
yeah,
I mean, first off, you're going outside of your continent, I guess you could say, really. I mean, you're
no,
going
your
across the
kingdom.
sea, your kingdom, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you're definitely going outside the box on that one. And nonetheless, a guy that has no title, no land, nothing, you know.
Well, it works out well for him. They probably have some previous relationship.
Right.
Um, who knows? But I mean, there has to be a reason like this guy's name comes to him.
Well, I was thinking more of probably somebody not so much that Jaehaerys knew him or knew, well, maybe more of just like he knew of him
Yeah,
rather than I know him personally.
yeah.
Maybe somebody kind of guided him on it. Um,
He was a self-made
yeah,
guy, and he was
right,
super willing to get on board with them because he wasn't allowed to join the Council of Magistrates.
right.
So, and that was Tyrosh, right?
Yeah,
Or no, Pentos, right?
Pentos. Pentos. Isn't Tyrosh where Roger's brother goes?
Tyrosh. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
yeah, because he marries a Tyroshi. A Tyroshi.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Blue and green hair.
Yeah, they always dye their hair like crazy colors, and the
Hmm.
guys dye their beards and stuff.
Oh, okay. Why is that?
I don't know. Just what they do.
Okay.
They like it.
And they like it. They really, really
Yeah.
like it. But yeah, back to the
Um,
out of the box choice.
yeah, Rigo Draz.
Yeah,
But yeah, he's not allowed to have that high position there because of his low birth. So, um, you know, Jaehaerys gladly takes him in and makes him master of coin. They come, there's a little bit later on in the chapter, but they come up with a pretty good taxation method there. And
right,
simply put, it's just taxing the rich more. But
right,
it's not a forced tax. It's a tax on goods.
right.
So, it's not
It's
you're
a
not
it's
paying
a
directly to
quote
that.
unquote forced because
Well,
yeah,
it's a
like you said, you're not
luxury
paying directly to that,
tax.
but it's right. It's a deal where it's like they're gonna buy that stuff because they want to have the best of this and the best of that. They're going to pay for it. So it's like
Yeah.
tax that then, man.
Yeah.
Tax that. Throw that on a
Yeah.
t-shirt. Tax that.
Yeah, if they're already willing to spend the money on it, they're going to be willing to spend a little extra on the taxes for it. So, yeah,
It's a
it's a
drug.
pretty much like nobody gets hurt plan, because
Hmm.
they're not taxing any of the businesses any more than normal, like in King's Landing, or just individual people. So, yes,
Right.
feels pretty on the
It's a
up and up.
win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I could
Um,
tax the air, I would. That's a good quote.
yeah. And then, or no, he said, if I could tax the air, I'd truly be a lord.
There you go, yeah.
Um,
Guess who
that's
just got himself a nickname?
most of what Jaehaerys does over the course of the chapter. It's just he's moving these pieces around
It's a chess
to,
game.
yeah, find the best team for his reign. He's already thinking ahead to, okay, how are we going to deal with the faith? Because that's probably going to come up at some point here.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, he's got a lot going on. He's
Right.
just moving a lot of the pieces around and trying to find where everybody fits best and swapping out the ones who aren't working. I liked his decision to, and it probably needs to happen more often. Him swapping out the keeper of the keys
Hmm.
and the rat catchers,
Yep.
because as we're going to see in House of the Dragon, these rat catchers know their way around through all the secret passages and
Yep.
um,
They know
a
too
lot of,
much.
yeah, they know a little too much and have access to a little too much. So but yeah, I thought that while it was kind of downplayed in the chapter, I feel like, he's like, oh, some lower offices, this one. I'm
It's the
like, no, I feel
details,
like
people.
that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that should be swapped out every so often so there's not people shouldn't have access to that for
No,
too long.
no. It's a short-lived office.
Yeah. Okay.
Bad
Do
thing is though,
you
they could easily go sell that information. How do you
yeah,
deal with that?
yeah, that's true. You probably gotta kill them. Or you cut their tongues
Cut their tongue
out
out.
or
Yeah, there you go.
something.
With
Yeah.
black
Yeah, I don't know
fire.
how they deal with that.
Yeah.
What did you think whenever, like, as you're reading through this, what did you think when Rogar is summoned to King's Landing? Because after Jaehaerys gets all his offices squared up, then he's like, okay, now it's time to deal with Rogar.
Well, he
Um,
knows. I mean, go ahead.
well, I mean, it builds to make you wonder, like, what's going to
What's
happen.
gonna
Is he
happen?
going to go
Yeah.
there and he's going to make him take the black? Is he going to go there and he's not even going to offer the black? He's just going to execute him.
Right.
So, yeah, what did you think reading through this just as you were going?
I mean, I didn't really have like a bad feeling of like, oh, is he gonna kill him or not? Like, because Jaehaerys doesn't seem like that kind of person, you know? I mean, even though it was a big deal of like what, you know, Rogar did, it just, Jaehaerys doesn't strike me as the person to just go ahead and I've already made my decision to kill this guy, you know? And we
Hmm.
see later on, it's like, I'm a Targaryen and I've got, is it Vermithor
Yeah.
that he has? Yeah, I mean, he's got Vermithor. I mean, I don't, and he talks about it later on with like the hostage deal, for the loyalty. That was one of my quotes. When he pardons, Lord Rogar and as custom, Lord Rogar, asked him about giving hostages like his nieces and nephews to serve in the court, in return for his loyalty. And he says, um, or Jaehaerys leads him to the where Vermithor is, and he says he grows larger every day. Jaehaerys said as he scratched the gray rim under his jaw. Keep your nieces and your nephews, my lord. Why would I need hostages? I have your word. That is all that I require. But Grand Maester Benifer heard the words he did not speak. Every man and maid and child in the Stormlands is my hostage, whilst I ride him. His Grace said, without saying, wrote Benifer, and Lord Rogar heard him plainly. Um, he's very, he understands when he's going that it's either well, he says that it's like Jaehaerys is going to be enough where he's going to allow me to take the black. He's not just gonna be like, nope, you're dead. Nope. You know, what? Huh?
Right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and it's funny because what did it talk about? His one brother, was it Oren? No. What's the first brother they mentioned in that part? The one that they said is usually pretty like gets pretty angry pretty easily, basically. But he was like the calm one in the situation where he's like, well, just you need to go and so on and so forth. But then the other two brothers were like, no, rebel. And, we have an army and we can march on, which is so dumb. That's the one that always gets me is when any of these other houses during the Targaryen reigns are just like, bro, we could call an army, we could call the banners, bro, we could march on King's Landing. It's like, yeah, they have a dragon or like two or three. So I think your army's crap against these dragons. So, and it's like, and he reminds them too. He's like, I'm not going to turn, the Stormlands into, what was it, Harrenhal or
Yeah.
Castle Black? Yeah, it's like, duh, I'm not going to do that. And that's when he says, Jaehaerys is going to be fair enough where it's like, if he will offer me the wall as one of the options, and if he does, I'll take it. You know,
Yeah,
so
it's Boris who
Boris, okay,
Yeah,
Because
says
Oren
that
Oren is hostage right now, isn't it? In Old Town.
yes. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Garen and Ronald are the others. They're the ones who say they
Okay.
should fight.
Yes. Too many names. Too many names. But yeah, and then you go and then I mean he lets him well, not to say his piece, but I mean he's fair and just to him. He lets him know it's like, look, what you did is wrong, but and what you did to my mom too was wrong, the way that he treated her and everything like that. And in the end, he pardons him for all of his actions, but he lets him know that it's like you're going to do this. You're going to, you're going to take my mom back, to the Stormlands. You're going to live happily ever after, you know, and you're going to be the champion of my wife, you know. Um, yeah, like I said, going back to the beginning though, it's like I never got the feeling that Jaehaerys was going to treat him badly, because it just
Yeah.
doesn't seem like Jaehaerys. Jaehaerys is like the just king that we have so far, at least. But very
S-
slow to, not like slow like his dad, slow, but like I mean he takes his time in figuring out what the true answer is, what action he needs to take. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he can choose the right path. But like I said, not as slow as like his dad was. Indecisive probably is a better way to describe that.
Um, so when they talked about the wedding a little bit, I was going to ask you, so I mean, this was a real world tradition in a lot of cases too, but what is your views on a betting ceremony?
It's kind of weird.
Oh, it'd be incredibly strange to be in that situation. It's like, hey guys, hi everybody watching me.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Oh, look,
I
they're looking.
I mean, I get why it is done, to make sure that a marriage is consummated and
Right, yeah. Well,
um
they want witnesses, basically.
yeah, but also, yeah, still just incredibly
It's,
awkward.
it's probably, oh God, don't dare say it. There's probably some extracurricular activities happening in the audience, if you know what I mean.
Oh, for sure.
Like, oh,
Everybody's
bro, come on, man.
wasted. Everybody's wasted.
Dude.
It's a party. It's like at the end of a feast.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting nuts. Yes, I said what I said.
Yes. Yep. 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 Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to see what your thoughts were on that. There's
Yeah, it's strange.
yeah, I mean
I've always, even like watching Game of Thrones, and then when they talk about it then, and then yeah, reading it now in Fire and Blood, it's like this is such a weird tradition.
yeah. But it's still done like in
It's,
their current
oh
time,
God. No, all I can think of is dodgeball. I said, boy, get in there. Deep like.
Oh my God. There's
Yeah,
a
that's
guy
gotta
there
be
with his dog
distracting,
barking.
right? It's gotta be distracting too, because they're not keeping quiet over there. Go,
No.
go, 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 go.
Yeah.
You can do it, Harris.
Oh my
Go.
God.
Come on.
Let's talk a little bit about Targaryen exceptionalism.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about this from the outside looking in? Because in my head, like having gone through a lot of this stuff for so long, it makes more sense to me that in Valyria, where this was a common practice among many houses and with little to no repercussions that we know of, at least in Valyria, that this is more like normalized, you know? And it's like they say that, they're not the same. Like, yes, like two animals are both animals, but one of them is a lion and the other one's an oryx, like they're not the same.
We talking about you talking about the like breeding like together in the Targaryen blood? Is that what you're talking about?
Essentially, but I mean, it
I forget
was,
this part.
I feel like the focus was more on the marriages because the faith didn't approve of the marriages.
Right.
And
I mean, you know
so
how I felt when we first when I first figured out. I was like, wait a minute, this family line looks weird. It's
wait a sec.
a lot of connections here
Yeah.
in the wrong way. What's happening?
This one
Yeah, I was
connects in
just
three
like,
places. What's happening?
wait a minute, is that line going backwards? What? What? Oh. Oh no, man, that's your sister. Come on. Yeah. It's always been weird to me, you know. You know how I felt too. It's like, George R. R. Martin, you're a sick freak. I know it's not him, but I always like to think that it's just funny to me. But
Um, I feel like this was probably the best way they could deal with this. You know, you can't be on the offensive about it all the time, you know?
no,
That's how Magor
they
was, and all that does is cause
stir the pot.
problems. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I had the word and then you started talking. Basically, they kind of like, I still don't have the word. They waited.
They wait.
Like you said, it's like they didn't go on the offensive like Magor did. They weren't
Yeah.
like, oh, out there in the open, they were just kind of like, they kind of hung back, and just kind of like kind of let it sit out there. Because I mean, by the time that he got back to King's Landing, before the marriage, the betting marriage and the whatever, very beginning of the chapter. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
When he gets back to King's Landing. I think it doesn't it make mention it's like it's already kind of like getting out there like beyond the walls of King's Landing that this has happened, that he's with her. And so it's like instead of going out there and be like, yeah, this is what we are and this is how we are and we love it, and you should too or whatever, they just kind of like let it kind of like slowly sink down throughout the rest of the kingdom, and just kind of let it be, which
Yeah.
for them was probably the best option,
Yeah.
obviously. And again, it's like I think Jaehaerys is smart enough to learn from his uncle's over the top, I guess you could say persona, um, offensive persona, and then his um indecisive dad, and then even taking like well, I mean, when he was on Dragonstone, he studied up on his grandfather, Aegon the Conqueror, and on all his different, journeys and different stuff like that, trying to gain as much knowledge as he can so that when he does come back to the throne, he can be the best king that the Targaryens have had. But so you'd have to think that that was kind of in that study too of like, okay, I really, because even like Aegon was kind of out there with it, you know,
Yeah.
but I mean, nobody was as bad as, like you said, like Magor, but I'm
I
sure
feel
that
like
was probably part of his studies and in gaining wisdom was like, okay, I should probably take this approach to it, you know.
there's a very careful balance between the crown and the faith, you know.
Right.
Um, these seven speakers that are sent out to basically get people on their side on these issues. I am basically picturing them like the Red Priests of Valor are during Game of Thrones. How they're sprinkled throughout, like you see them in different
Remember
places.
that.
Um, Thoros of Myr is one of them. You know Thoros, the guy with the flaming
Uh,
sword, and
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
not Beric Dondarrion, the other one.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Beric's with him. He was a
One-eyed
lord,
Willie? Is that what
and
you're talking about?
yes, One-Eyed Willie Dondarrion. Um,
That flaming sword
which
was cool.
they change actors, I'm pretty sure, but it's funny to look at
Yeah.
him.
Did they?
Well, from the beginning, because in season one, Ned Stark like sends him out with some other guys to bring back Gregor Clegane. And he never
Oh.
comes back because Gregor kills him. And then
Oh.
Thoros brings him back to life.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's been a
Beric had
long
been
time since I
brought
watched
back
Game
to
of Thrones
life
now.
several times,
Okay. Okay.
killed by two
Okay.
Cleganes.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
whenever Ned sends him out, he looks completely different. But I'm pretty sure it's a different actor. It might not be, but I was pretty sure it was.
Hmm. That'd be interesting.
Um, yeah, and then
What was
there's
his
other
name?
times Beric Dondarrion.
Okay.
Um, I'm pretty sure the Dondarrions are who Kristen Cole's family like serves. I'm pretty sure.
Nice.
You also see those like priests of Valor, and there's an episode where Tyrion and Varys are walking through Marine, and there's like a red priestess up there in the square, like talking to people. I'm basically just picturing them out there standing on a box in the middle of a town square, talking to people about,
Hear
yeah,
ye. Everybody, gather, gather. Basically, kind of like a street preacher.
yeah.
Just kind of chilling out as everybody walks by. Some stop, some keep walking. Okay, yeah, it was portrayed by two different guys.
Okay. Yeah, see, I figured it was two different actors, but still, it's interesting to watch it go from
Hmm.
he's uninjured, like totally fine,
Yeah.
to him being so jacked up and having been brought back to life like several times.
I almost wonder though if that was kind of like on purpose, maybe.
Just to be like extra jarring.
Yeah. Well, I just mean like the two different actors.
Yeah. I mean, they
I
changed
mean
a couple
the
actors around that time.
well,
They
yeah,
changed, that was when
yeah,
they changed Dario Naharis.
right. Um, this one picture that they have here looks like maybe at the Battle of the oh shoot, what was it called?
Helm's Deep.
Yeah, toss me. Yeah, that's when he looked at Aragorn and said, "Toss me." Um,
Toss
no,
me,
what's the
Aragorn.
crap?
We
Dang
can
it,
take
Josh.
them.
And what is he throws a "Rah!" um God, what's the night? What's like the night that never ends or whatever? What's that one called?
The night that never ends.
There
The long night.
you go, the long night. I mean, I said the same thing, just in a different way.
The
You
night
don't
that
remember
never ends.
you don't remember the battle of the night that never ends. Anyway, they have that looks like a picture from that. So I mean, he is bloodied up. I mean, about to die basically. And then you click on the guy who portrayed him in the first season, and it's like, yeah, I could see that. Where it's like he's cleaned up, he's younger, he hasn't gone through
Yeah,
all the hell. So
right.
nice. Trust
Um,
me, Aragon.
as we kind of start working our way towards the end of this, let's talk about the real test um of Jaehaerys, as it says anyway, in this chapter, which is his older sister Rhaena. And I think we always knew that Rhaena was eventually going to be kind of a
Come around.
problem, you know.
Yeah,
She feel like she got robbed, you know.
right,
Her and Aegon would have been the rightful heirs, and when Aegon died, that kind of displaced her.
went to the yep wayside. Yep,
I think she's also a little bitter that it's not going through their line, that it's not going to be one of her daughters who inherits if
right.
it's not her. Um, she also, I think, has this resentment for Jaehaerys a little bit, and not maybe even for Jaehaerys, but at the love and loyalty that has been shown to Jaehaerys, because when she and Aegon rose up against Maegor, they didn't, there was only a few lords that stood with them,
Yeah,
none of the great houses. And so I think she's, yeah, just like a little bit bitter about that, about
right.
how she
I
and
get
Aegon
that.
didn't get the support that he got.
Right, and it's fair.
Because with it, they
They probably
might,
could have.
they might have
History
done
could
it.
have changed. Yeah,
Maybe, maybe though, dude. I mean, Maegor was riding
yeah,
Balerion,
yeah.
and I feel like Aegon, outside of Dorne, like held back a lot.
Right.
And yeah, I don't want to know what Balerion could do just, you know, at
All
10
out.
and with the knob ripped off. Yeah.
Right. Oh God. I can't control it
I
now.
can't turn it off.
Ugh.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
Reyna, when she turns up at the wedding and she talks with Jaehaerys about her troubles abroad, just everything that she deals with, that we talked about in the last episode. She can't stay anywhere for long because
Mhm.
either they only want her for dragon riders in their own family, or they, just get sick of her being there.
Right.
And so they're constantly on the move, this little court that she's formed, which is just kind of a bad look.
It's terrible. Yeah. Well, that's a terrible way to live too,
Yeah.
especially for a
Um,
quote unquote queen of the East or
I
West.
do understand why she can't just go back to court, at King's Landing.
Right.
She says, like, I'm just gonna live in your shadow forever if that's
Hmm.
what happens. Like, I need land, a castle,
In my own.
men. Like, yeah, she needs her own setup. When she asks for Dragonstone, that's when it really hit me. I was like, oh, I know who this is. Do you know who this is?
No.
She not remind you of another young, brash Targaryen that felt like they got the short end of the stick?
Mm. Daenerys?
No.
No. Can't think of her off the top of my head now.
Really? Somebody who feel like they got shortchanged?
Her mom?
They wanted to get set up a Dragonstone. They kind of
Roger?
feel like their sibling doesn't deserve the throne.
Just tell me.
Damon.
Oh yeah.
Damon,
Yeah.
Curtis. Damon. They're almost
Who?
exactly the same.
I forgot about that. Okay, okay. You know how long ago it's been since I watched House of the Dragon?
You need to do a little rewatch, man.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like
need to.
halfway through right now, but I've been rewatching over the last few weeks.
Well, if HBO would give me an actual date in June, then I was gonna sit down and really watch it all, leading right up right into it, and just go whoop, right into season two.
You should just that Sunday get up really early in the morning and watch
Ugh.
every episode leading into
I
that
mean, how
episode.
many was there? Like 10 episodes?
Yeah. So
10 hours
10
worth.
at least.
Yeah.
A
Or
couple of them
was
were
the
a little bit
final one like
longer. A couple of them were a
it's-
little bit shorter.
uh,
10 hours, that's not too bad.
that
So if it started at like 7 o'clock, then I think it usually starts at 8 though, right?
was yeah, 8 o'clock. 8 to 9 ish.
So if it starts at
Ish.
8, you
Yeah.
could start at 10 in the morning.
10 in the morning.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Uh,
Yeah, just
well, hold on. Let
reading.
me let me let me check my calculations. Okay, we're good.
I gotta check the Weirwood network real quick.
Ah,
Yeah, reading through her talking with Jaehaerys, I was like, oh, this is Damon. Like this has Damon written all over it.
okay.
Yeah, she wants Dragonstone as her seat, and she wants her daughter back, which, they mentioned that that could kind of be a problem because
Yeah.
right now she's the heir
Right.
because,
Technically
Daenerys,
speaking,
yeah, Jaehaerys had named her
Daenerys.
Daenerys. Jaehaerys had named her as heir until they have a kid. So
Who is that supposed to be? Combo of
Daenerys,
Daenerys.
I
Daenerys
guess
and
Jaehaerys and
Jaehaerys.
Daenerys, yeah.
Oh, okay. That was me working
Um,
it out live. Uh,
but I mean, she gets it. She gets Dragonstone and she gets area. So what
all
are
is
you
well in the
gonna
kingdom.
do? Yeah.
Do
And
you think he
then
acted in haste though when he granted everything that she wanted? Or do you think he should have like taken his little bit of time?
I mean, as long as she doesn't get too out of hand,
Yeah,
then it'll be okay. But I feel like he makes it very clear, like Dragonstone is mine, but
right.
you're gonna hold it in my name. So
Just gonna house sit for me.
yeah, yeah. And then the chapter just kind of closes out talking about how Alice saying, they're trying to.
It's an
We've had
Airbnb.
we've had a weird run here. We went from the
How
court
so, Josh?
being a happy place in Amy's time to a really dismal, dark place in Magor's time to this interim time, the last like year and a half or so, um, where now they're coming back and they're kind of trying to, they do it with the council, but even in the court, they're trying to wipe the slate clean. Like we're trying to spruce this place up, trying to flip it.
Right.
Um,
Flip this castle.
yeah, because it's just, I think for Alice saying she remembers when she was a kid there and how they had singers and
Mhm.
mummers and it was just a happier place to be. So they're
Right.
kind of trying to rekindle that same feeling. Um, I almost forgot about the singer she brought in, who was like the first, um, whatever the title is, royal court singer or whatever.
He's a jester.
But it was one of the guys who fought in the War for the White Cloaks.
Mm-hmm.
Which was picking the 5 remaining Kingsguard for Jaehaerys.
Right.
I was racking my brain trying to remember the 6th one. I know the first one was Joffrey Doggett. I cannot remember the other one.
Don't look at me.
Is it the one
I'm
who
bad with
uses
names.
the spear? The one who's
Doesn't
like
ring a
super
bell.
fast with a spear?
Maybe.
I think so. I can't remember his name. Anywho. But yeah, the chapter
What?
just kind of closes out with that and also letting you know that Alysanne is pregnant. So,
What?
yeah.
Yeah. That's gonna be great.
Well, when you read the next chapter, I think
It's gonna be terrific.
you're going to feel differently about that.
Oh no!
Whoa!
She's birthing a mutant.
All right. Okay, so that next chapter, if you're going to be reading along with us here, is Birth, Death, and Betrayal under King Jaehaerys the First. We'll probably be putting that one out in the next couple of weeks, I think, probably. And try to hammer out these last few chapters so that we're caught up with the show by the time season 2 starts. So that way, hopefully, it'll be kind of a seamless transition into this, especially since it's been a while since we watched. So,
Yeah.
well, if you just can't get enough of the Throw of the Dragon podcast, so there are many more episodes. Let's say you want to
Inject it
get
into my veins.
Matrix, plug it into me. um, there are many more episodes of the Throne of the Dragon podcast. We started the show covering episode by episode, season 1 as it was airing. And since then, we've been doing episodes over each chapter of Fire and Blood. So make sure you catch up on those. Maybe you need to do a little rewatch before season 2 starts. You can follow along with us there. Get a great discussion on those episodes and some wild theories, some that definitely did not pan out.
Oops.
But not just that show, Curtis, our other shows as well. We have a Peaky Blinders show, the Red Right Hand podcast, where we cover all 6 seasons of the Netflix/BBC hit show, The Peaky Blinders. That is friendly to first-time watchers and rewatchers.
Family friendly.
It's not super family friendly.
Probably not family friendly.
Probably not. We've also got the History of the Cours podcast and the History of the Cours After Hours podcast.
Wow.
Whoa.
Whoa.
We cover different bands from core genres and in different formats. In one, we cover them, and another one, we cover them again.
Cover them again.
But from a different perspective. One of them's me, one of them's Eric. So Curtis gives you his same opinions both times.
I'm still there.
He's still there.
My ugly mug is still there. You're stuck with me. Get used to it.
Make sure to follow us on YouTube and TikTok and X, formerly known as Twitter.
X.
That is Survived by Productions on all those. You can also follow me on my personal X at Joshua Lynn Gary. I think that's it. Did we miss any? That's it.
Good.
That's all of them.
got
New
a-
episode of
got a
History of
shirt
the
you got on
Core is
there?
out. We got a new episode of History of the Core's After Hours out.
Oh,
And
wait a minute.
this sick Throne of the Dragon t-shirt.
Ooh, delicious. Nice. Nice. Sick. Nice.
All right. We will see you guys for the next one.
But bro,
What?
it was his grandsire's sword. Sword of Kings, man.
Nah, dude. If you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.
Bummer.
We'll see you.
See ya.